Broadcasting live from the Loading Ready Run orbiting underground moon base, it's the LRRcast.
But who are these people?
But
These
who-
are different people.
Yes, well, I mean, we're the people who are different from last time.
Yeah, actually, it's true.
Hey everyone, it's Graham. I'm back on the LRRcast along with Paul.
Hello.
And joining us again, as they were last week in the special guest bonus LRRcast episode, is Beej.
Hello.
And Alex.
Hi. And Alex's mini hats.
Alex has many hats. Well, three hats.
Recursive hats.
Recursive hats.
Yeah.
There's actually a tiny Alex inside
wearing
each hat. Yeah.
Smaller hats.
Yeah.
When I hosted Feed Dump by myself, that was the triplicate of hats that I wore to indicate that I was reading the story, as opposed to just commenting on the story.
Mm.
It was a good visual shorthand. So we're going to talk about some recent videos that haven't received the full loading time treatment we can talk about, and answer your questions from the LRRcast thread. So the askLRR thread, I suppose. Sometimes, especially recently, because we've been doing these Friday nights Heroes Path episodes, that we've been shooting Loading Ready Run videos on Friday when Alex isn't around to do loading time of them. And so we've had some that we've missed recently, such as the Relaxation situation, which Paul wrote, the one where I'm a big floating head.
Yeah. This was, I guess obviously this is sort of this idea of, these relaxation tapes, with like sort of the waves going in and out, and the voice telling people, what to do and stuff.
Just relax.
Yeah.
All
And-
is well.
I realized partway through and sort of near the end of writing this that may not have actually been ever a real thing. that might be a thing that only exists in the world of sketch comedy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I realized that all the instances of it I could actually remember was from like the Ben Stiller show and like various other things that were making fun of
It's like
those
something
things, but I'm not sure whether it ever actually existed.
that'd be pretty funny that if it spontaneously appeared within the comedy sphere.
Well, I feel like it's that there are relaxation
I'm
tapes,
sure.
but nobody has ever bothered to actually do a video version. But when people wanted to do sketch comedy on TV, they had a funny idea
Right.
involved, and they had heard the audio.
Had to visualize it.
and so they had to have visual stuff. So the idea of like the giant floating head, which is actually a terrible idea for a relaxation tape. when you
That's
think
pretty
about it.
scary.
Because there's a one the one in the Ben Stiller show, which was a sketch comedy show, by the way, with very short-lived but Emmy award-winning sketch comedy show with Ben Stiller, Janine Garofalo, and Andy Dick
And Bob Odenkirk.
and Bob Odenkirk. Really, Bob Odenkirk?
Yep.
This was
Pre-Mr. Show.
before Mr.
wow.
Show. Went for a season. Was very weird. Not surprising it didn't get renewed, but had some very funny stuff in it. But one of them was this thing with Andy Dick as like the floating head. But the thing in that one is he starts like there's like people on the beach and he starts like attacking them, and like the head on screen actually goes like. He'll be like, "Hey, you eat this," and the head actually goes like boomf and like hits the guy, and the guy like falls over, and he's like, "Yeah, deal with it."
And there's like a girl on the beach. He starts sort of creeping on her and stuff.
Ugh,
It's,
nice.
it's very weird. I like that. It's like this sort of thing where you taking the same concept but going in sort of a totally different direction with it.
Mm-hmm.
And so and this is rather than sort of taking the floating head as a real thing. Actually, sort of being it literal, as in the person sitting on the green screen back in their studio somewhere.
Mhm.
It's what we did for this one. So it actually it turned out really well. Actually, I wasn't quite sure how the whole effect of the green screened head, Graham's head, and then having James just kind of walk in and sort of totally disrupt the illusion of the green screen.
Right.
I wasn't quite sure how well that would turn out, but I was very happy with how it worked.
It was interesting because typically when we would do something like that where we would just be like green screening ahead, it wouldn't matter how we set up the green screen shot.
Mhm.
We just do it however, and then because in with green screen, you can move the head around, change the scale, and put it wherever you need it to be. But because James was coming into the shot, we needed to make the green screen shot be like where it would be, or else James wouldn't be framed properly in the shot. I don't know if I'm explaining this in a way that makes sense.
Well,
but
yeah, you couldn't be like standing up straight because then you would see James's head when you came in. You have to be like down on the ground.
Well, it was more like we couldn't just shoot my head in the center of shot and then move it wherever it needed to be afterwards.
Right.
We needed to frame the shot and me so that my head in shot was where it needed to be once it was overlaid onto the shot of the waves.
Right.
Which we shot first, by the way.
It might be kind of interesting to do. You've done like the green noon and green situation. It might be good. It might be interesting just to like show a few, even just like stills of what the green screen footage looked like for this video.
Because so funny things that would have gotten captured on loading time if there'd been one for that episode is we went to the beach. It's Fonio Beach here in Victoria, BC, named after is it Dave or Steve Fonio? Steve Fonio, thank you, who did successfully run across Canada, I believe.
Yeah, after Terry Fox.
After Terry Fox.
To finish the run, right?
To finish the run, yeah, exactly.
He was running after Terry.
Curse you!
Terry Fox stole his wallet before he
I need this for cancer research.
You damn kid.
Oh,
boy.
Somebody record that.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Ha!
Yeah.
So we went to Fonio Beach, which is down this massive flight of stairs to this quite, fairly secluded rock beach with actually a high amount of foot traffic, considering how secluded it is. We get all the way down there and realize that we do not have the battery for the camera. No, we forgot. What was it? Card. We forgot an SD card, so we could not actually record anything when we were down there. So James was like, I'll do it, and hiked back up the stairs and drove back to the office and got the battery and the card and came back, and the three of us played Can We Get Cell Phone Reception on This Beach? Can we get cell phone reception without roaming to the U.S.?
Yeah, that's the interesting thing about because of where Vancouver Island is and how close we are to various places in the United States. That if we're down on the very tip of Vancouver Island and hanging out on the beach, the signal from over the water is actually more powerful.
Because you're at the bottom of this huge cliff there. Like, obviously the camera didn't turn around, but there's like a massive cliff drop, and then the beach, and signals travel well over water. If you look at that shot again, and I know there's clouds, but I think it's clear enough that you can see the mountains. The mountains in the distance across the water, that's the Strait of Juan de Fuca.
Yeah, okay.
And across the water is the Olympic Mountain Range, which is at the north of Washington State. So we're quite close to the U.S. there.
So people who actually live down on Beach Drive, that's called, actually basically, I had a friend who lived down there, and basically every month had to phone Rogers and be like, this is not, I have all these extra roaming charges.
Do not charge me for roaming.
Do not charge me because your system sucks so much and is less powerful than the signal from across the water.
It's weird. It's weird we always roam to T-Mobile, though, not to AT&T. I guess there's a T-Mobile tower in Port Angeles.
Nice. Well, now they have international data roaming.
Oh.
Yeah, so.
Except we don't get that.
Yeah.
So,
anyway.
we went down there and we shot that bit. And, of course, that's all in one shot as well. It was basically just like, we're going to sit here for like a minute, and then we're going to get Paul and Kathleen to walk into shot and do their business, and then sit here for another 4 minutes.
Yeah, it's like...
I think we only did one take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was writing it, I was initially planning that the... as with the Xanathor video, or Xanator. Xanator, right? The H is silent. The Xanator video. I was sort of thinking that the stuff with the waves in the ocean would be just stock footage. And then as I was writing it, I was like, oh, actually, it'd be kind of funny if he actually is like interacting a little bit with this. For some reason, not only is he broadcasting his thing live, but the stock footage is being recorded live too.
Why?
Doesn't make any sense. But anyway, he has commitment to the real time nature of the thing.
It's Dogma 95.
Yeah.
Oh man. Nice reference.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So basically, what we did is because there's only one point in that whole shot that needs to be timed. We just made sure to leave ourselves plenty of extra space on either side of it, and then we could slide that to wherever we needed it to be, basically.
And then and then it was great because some people came down had come down the stairs and were sort of watching us while we did the like Keystone Cops bit from the teaser of me like running back and forth as Cataline chases me,
Nice.
which I think turned out pretty well.
I wonder if they ever went, because they were, pardon me, they were British tourists. I wonder if they ever did go and check out the website. I wonder.
We never will know.
Yeah.
Ooh. Boodaloo. And then, yeah, I mean, once we got back here, it was not that difficult to do the shooting. I mean, we sort of sat in front of the green screen, wrapped the green screen sheet around me, and recorded.
I mean, the tough part was that, of course, Graham's part had to be done all in one take because it's just the straight.
I admit it was teleprompted.
Yes. We're not too big to admit that.
There was one slight ad lib that I did that someone commented on that they really enjoyed, which was in Paul's script. It was like, is everyone ready? All right, let's get started or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I changed it to then we'll begin, which actually you said is probably what you were going for.
I think so. Yeah.
And it's
like then I'll begin. I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was a BBC show called. It was something with mother. And there was like this very like motherly figure that was like, "Are you sitting comfortably? Then we'll begin."
And yeah, like I feel
it's very familiar.
It was
exactly.
It was like BBC television from like the 60s or 50s even.
Which means that we probably got it like 30 years later.
I don't think we got it. I don't know how I know that.
Or it was on KCTS or something.
Yeah.
But it was one of those things where it's like, I think when I was writing that, I was sort of thinking, that was what I had in my mind. I just didn't know the actual wording.
Right.
But that seemed very familiar to me. So I'm glad we got it correctly, because I believe some actual British people were like, I see what you did there. It's like that. Okay.
Listen with mother. That was it.
It's a little creepy, actually. But anyway.
It was a BBC radio program for children, which ran between 1950 and 1982.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And she's just reading stories, I'm guessing.
Yes. Listen with mother. Open with the phrase, "Are you sitting comfortably? Then I'll begin." The question, originally an ad lib by Julia Lang, became so well known it ended up in the Oxford Dictionary of Quotations.
Huh. Nice.
Cool.
Then we'll begin. Call me Ishmael.
What's up, sluts?
The sky was the color of television.
That's
Into
why
a dead channel.
That's why they
That's why they canceled it in
canceled it
1982.
in 1982. Yeah, Mother got a little bit.
Mother got a little bit ribald.
Yeah, went off the rails.
I keep actually. I had wondered for briefly how exactly, if you used a sheet or if Graham was in a shirt or what, and then I just, because my mind was wandering, I'm like, oh, he probably has a morph suit by now.
We do not have a Green Man
We
suit.
really should get
Or at least
a
like
green morph
just a
suit.
green turtleneck is really what he should be. It's probably what it would have worked better for that. Like people commented on that, like when James came in and Graham started sort of turning and talking to him more, that because then the fabric moved a little bit and you could kind of see it a little bit.
Yeah.
Which is
And
fine.
that was actually kind of intentional. Like, we didn't deliberately move the fabric, but we were deliberately not paying that close attention to that, because the idea being that he is actually using a sheet, and
This is the kind of thing
it's sort of falling up. Like his whole like green screen system is kind of falling apart.
right.
Though I did ask James to, rather than grab me and pull me out, grab the head and drag the head away.
Which it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It's just sort of funny. It just, although
Visually though, it's
when he grabbed it and pulled the chair out, the chair caught on a cord, and so he actually pulled me out, and then the chair just went ass over tea kettle, and I just like went boomp out on the floor, because he was pulling from the high point of the fulcrum.
right.
Just whoop right over. So
Good thing you didn't like wrench your neck or something.
nah, it was kind of funny.
Was that a one take then? Like you sat there and obviously had to do the whole thing.
That was like the
We did it a few
third
takes.
take.
Is the biggest thing that we had to work out was just the interaction between James and Graham, and like where James was going to walk to, and like where he could walk to. The way I love the way he opens the briefcase
And completely obscures
and
me.
completely, because obviously we didn't have hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of money in the briefcase, so we had to open the briefcase such that you couldn't see inside.
Mm-hmm.
But then so James just opens it up and completely obscures Graham's face, which I quite like. Anyway,
So yeah,
I think that's about it for that video.
we
It's
did
pretty straightforward.
an episode. You guys talked about the episode of Friday Nights last time.
Yeah, that was which one was that?
The one with the weapon fight,
Mm.
right?
Twang.
And opening all the Theros.
Yep.
Yeah,
I think we did.
it was difficult to find an olive fork. I tell you what.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah,
Mm.
easier
Oh yeah,
to-
because we had to talk about the bow too. We had to,
Yeah.
That was
Fancy
wicked.
bed.
Sweet.
Mm-hmm.
And so the most recent video, the ways to
Oh,
goof off
yeah.
still
Wow,
to-
yeah.
So there's some loading time footage. Hopefully,
Mm.
Yeah,
there's an amount of footage. Whether it's a full episode
I
remains to be
usually
seen.
feel like there's not enough, and then when I actually look at it, I was like, oh, I actually did tons.
Yeah.
I just wasn't thinking.
So we'll see. But
So what's
as written,
what's depicted in that is accurate in the sense that Graham and I were not there.
Yeah.
And
we knew the
sat
concept.
down.
It was going to be. It was like ways to shoot a video when Graham and Paul are out of town or something, and we were like, that sounds cool. I think I might have helped brainstorm one idea. I can't even remember if it was used.
Yeah, and we had some. Yeah, we had like some. You know, we were in like the document where we were brainstorming ideas and stuff. But I think that's actually this is the first video that has been completely shot and edited
Unbeknownst to you guys.
Without either of us.
without either of us.
Because there's been times when
Wait,
Paul's
the first
been away.
one ever?
Well, there's times been when Paul's been away, or times when I've been away.
Mhm.
But this is the first time that neither of us have had basically any involvement.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then plus because you would have been the main editor forever and ever, but
Yeah.
Kathleen's picking up a lot of
And
that.
you,
Exactly.
Right, and
you
and-
know, it turned out really good.
Well,
It
Yeah.
did.
It's
It did.
it's basically like because Kathleen has been doing more editing now, but also usually Graham and Kathleen will be going away together.
Yes,
So that
absolutely.
doesn't actually her doing more editing doesn't help with that part of it.
what I thought was funny is that because Graham, you had commented, you'd said, I think this is probably one of the best X-Ways to Y we've ever done,
Mhm.
and I thought to myself, probably a lot of that has to do with the novelty of you not seeing it until it's really a finished product. And you're like,
So-
oh my god, this is really good.
I
Like,
could see that. Well,
yeah.
I think honestly, what helped is like what I saw as an outside party that made it really, really shine is every scene. Because Kathleen told me after the fact, you guys changed up the lighting and the shot for every single scene,
yeah.
right? So like you moved the lights around. All the lighting I thought was really, really strong.
Oh, good.
All the props, like just the like.
And then
Nothing was half-assed.
No,
Like
it's
you
not.
you had
And then
all
the
these
brief
props.
was literally full asset.
Yeah, exactly.
and then
exactly.
each sort of segment was in like a different location and stuff.
Yeah.
It was very good.
It was just really, really good. And the fact
Now-
that you had the dogs come in.
Yeah.
Was there an aspect of, you know, because Graham and I weren't there, an aspect of like
What
let's-
can we get away with?
or just like we want to do it this way because it'll be really funny for Graham and
Yeah, I
Paul.
mean the snooping Graham's browser history was definitely
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
us ribbing you guys.
Yeah.
like imagining what our reaction would be when we watched the video.
yeah, I think there's a lot of like.
Well, I got a text from James when we were in North Carolina. I got a text from James in the middle of your shoot that just said, "I'm sorry."
I think we were
And
in
I
the
was
middle.
like-
We were
Well,
like,
it's like-
we were like doing a panel at the time.
Yeah, and I
too.
was like, "Why? What's wrong?" And he's like, "You'll find out on Monday."
Sweet.
Well, I mean, like one of the bits is us burning the moon base
Yeah,
down.
that was good.
So
I did actually contribute to that because Kathleen showed me a rough cut, and I was like, "Do you think we could get a little bit of fire in there?"
Well, I
But
saw
that's,
that-
That's why she credited me for special effects or something. Which
Yeah.
is not.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have been in that credits at all.
It was a good idea, though. I'm glad that because when I saw that, I was really surprised. I'm like, oh, that's awesome because that's what that needs at that
Yeah.
moment.
That was a really good
Also-
shot.
spontaneously writing a segment where we were obliged to eat candy.
Yeah.
That was one of the last
that.
bits we shot, and the last bits that we added.
To be fair, that's not necessarily unique to you guys. I mean, we
Yeah.
did do this. We did write the thing where we all
Where we
got
all
frozen yogurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was excellent.
That,
Or we
that
all eat
bit
pizza.
was a toss up between that and a road trip. We're like,
Yeah.
both of those are strong ideas, but one of them involves eating candy.
Yeah.
And sitting on
we
our
knew that
asses.
we knew that if we did a road trip, the problem would be how do we rig the camera up in a way that shoots all of us doing it?
Yeah.
And we thought that really the only way you could do it is you'd have to have James shooting us like just peeling out. And like that's
Just
not,
laying a patch.
Yeah, and it's not as interesting.
You could
but
put like the GoPro inside the car and
the
do like.
GoPro
the
is
GoPro
probably,
was
yeah.
We
the
couldn't
problem,
find it.
so-
Oh.
We
So
didn't know
like-
where the GoPro was.
we're like-
Otherwise, we would have tried it.
ultimately there was something really nice about just having a great static shot. Of
Yeah,
just
just
us
like
sitting there
eating candy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kathleen just chewing.
I just
all
like that
of
you're
this
double
sour-
fisting ice cream.
Yeah.
So
I had to jump on that bomb, man. It was not easy.
So I really enjoyed. When there was Let Alex Direct,
Mm-hmm.
like that is a deep reference.
That's a really obtuse reference.
Like for the 3 people watching who have seen Leon's Great Adventure, like
Yeah,
that's
That's what we figured. Is just like the 3 people that know that reference are probably in hospital. From
I
laughing
couldn't
now.
handle it. Like
Other
like to an outside observer, it's just like, oh, they're playing with action figures, and then he dumps chum on them. Which the timing for that cut was amazing, by the way. But yeah, Alex did this whole thing where with like you did like a movie with action figures.
My brother and I did 2 movies.
Oh, the second one was
The
stellar.
second one was pretty amazing. With action figures, and they were incredibly gory. Like the first movie was thrown out of the Oak Bay High
film festival. Yeah.
because it was too violent. Because there's one
they're
bit.
action figures.
Well, the part they couldn't handle was, I think, when the Spawn figurine gets put in like a cardboard box that represents like a cage, and a can of paint flattens him, and then it cuts to this area labeled blood outlet, and all this red paint just poured out. And they're like, no, we're not comfortable showing this movie.
and
good
well,
one.
and you guys had like all sorts of crazy pyrotechnics and stuff.
Yeah,
Isn't it still up on your YouTube?
It's around somewhere.
Like /XMWorks?
The sequel, which we broke down into episodes, is definitely online. It's actually intentionally misspelled. It's Leon's Great Grate Adventure.
Except Leon is pronounced Leon.
Which is funny, but also makes it extremely difficult to find.
Yeah. The first one might be online. I'm not positive that it is.
So, but if it would be like YouTube/XMWorks.
I'm just checking
think
if
it
that is
is.
indeed his actual.
yeah,
It's
that's
a bunch of Minecraft videos.
that's my YouTube, and it should be on there.
Yeah,
there it is.
Land's Great Adventure 2.
That
in 10
account, which I
episodes.
have a lot of difficulty
Sweet.
accessing now because of Google-ness.
Oh, I hate when
It
that
looks
I
happens.
had like I keep trying because I have my my account tied to that and the Crap Shots account, and the Crap Shots account somehow has become the primary, and I can't log into my XMWorks
Oh.
account.
Well, we're
and
gonna.
I've tried a bunch
Goo-
of times.
Oy.
Google is really messed up.
So
there.
yeah.
The
Yeah.
interaction between Google and YouTube is. You think they would figure it out after like 5 years, but it still seems
Anywho,
weird.
do go watch that because it's pretty amazing.
So there was that. There was Let Kathleen Direct, which was like random gay porn, which was hilarious.
Oh, you figured out it was gay porn.
Yes.
How did you know those were my legs? Well, they were. But
Yeah. I knew they were your legs. I don't know why I knew they were your legs. but
Well, we did live together
I,
for a
true.
while.
I
so-
actually had to lobby pretty hard for Let Kathleen, because we had originally, the idea was just to do branch out into other genres,
Right.
and then it was going to be that shot, and but then we're like, well, what happens if, like, how many more genres do you want to do? But we should do like a porn film, we should do like an art film,
right.
and obviously that's cams.
Yeah.
But then we, like, Alex was talking his, and it's like, so when they showed up online, it was like, oh, Let Alex direct, Let Kathleen direct. It was like, that actually makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
And it works in threes.
Yeah.
And I what I love about cams is that you guys had to go and buy Evian. That was one of the only
for
props.
him to flip it off into my face.
But the timing on his backhand, like it would be very easy for it to be like for it to look like, you know, he winds up for the backhand and then it cuts, but it's clear that the actor in that case is not actually going to swing through on it. But the timing on that cut is so perfect.
Turned out really well.
Yeah.
Did that
And just
3 times.
the
Got water
frustration,
everywhere.
and he doesn't like. He just pivots to me, doesn't even say anything. Just like, what is this garbage
I just
you're
love
bringing
he's flipping
to me?
it and then he's about to slap you.
Yep.
Sold it so well. Like, really, I thought he was going to just swing through.
So then my question was, and this was a question that came up in the forums, but I feel like this is a good place to address it. Why was there no Let Beej direct?
Oh yeah.
And if there was a Let Beej direct, what would it be? Yeah.
Right.
I'm curious.
I actually, a friend of mine did ask me this.
Yeah.
Radio Wasabi, who he hosts a radio show in Edmonton. And he said, "Why
Was there a Let Beej direct, and you just was
We never
too
thought of it.
extreme?
Actually, well, I
Or
mean,
wait.
you guys never thought of it, but,
but you did.
I did think of it, and because I was trying to think, what would that possibly look like? And then I realized that all of those things wouldn't, like, it was, we kind of had every single genre, and I was like, well, what else do we pick up that's so weird? And the only thing I could think of is we just would have to, like, I'd have to be acting in as every actor in the scene. Much
I
like
see.
the Commodore Hustle opening we did.
Nice.
I like that.
So it's Let Beej direct is that he just
It was
gets
just
rid
like
of everybody
there was no space to have another joke in there,
Mm.
basically.
Yeah, well, because we had the 3, and it was like, you know, comedy works in 3s.
Yeah,
right?
and you
so-
had like the just like the weird thing, and then the porn, and then the
You
surrealist
could do the John
thing.
Malkovich, only all Beeges.
Yeah.
I like that you guys that
Beejing John
the way you did the
Malkovich.
porn is exactly the way we've done that in the past, like on the
Just
like,
legs.
the like Sigma
Sigma
Theta Delta.
Theta Delta.
yeah, it was
STD.
in the same way with the just like the shot with just like the legs.
Yeah.
I did have to take my pants off though.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys were really game.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You two especially.
Very-
I was, well, I mean, like I say, I felt like I had to fight that just a little bit because I was kind of like, let me please take my shirt off for this. I know I'm not in the best shape, but please let me be topless on camera. This is going to be so fun.
It was
Yeah,
really,
both of us
really
topless
funny.
on camera.
You were, yeah.
And we did, and it was like, I think that's what actually helped sell that too for the
Oh,
Lord
yeah.
of the Fly segment.
It's
Definitely.
actually been a while since I showed up topless in a video.
because I
It's
really,
not a pretty sight, but
I would have been willing to go like just straight boxers. I would have walked into that scene and it's like,
I like that
was
it
not
was.
gonna work.
All
I
right,
like that,
so Desert Bus, something to look forward
Yeah.
to.
I like that it was.
womp womp.
It was actually stage blood that you were using for the Lord of the Flies.
That stuff
segment.
stains so badly. I was really ruddy and had to explain to my friends later when I hung out with them. It's like, so I didn't get a suntan because it's August.
Yeah.
I was playing with fake blood. And they're
It's
like,
like they're
oh.
it's like don't worry, this isn't a suntan. It's just blood. It's fine.
What's
I'm
funny
also
about
not running 100-degree fever.
What's funny about that too, though, is that I was in the back and I was mopping myself off with wet paper towels, and none of it stayed behind. It all came off completely.
You lucky
I know.
jerk.
No oil, right? So there's nothing to bind to. It
My
just
favorite
washes
part about
off.
asking Kathleen when I was like, "What's because she was showing me the rough cut, and I was like, "What's the music in the Sting?" Because I was watching it through VNC, and I couldn't, or VPN, no VNC,
Yeah.
and I couldn't hear it, which you didn't need to for Commodore Hustle or for
Yeah,
X
because
Space
it's
to
the
Y.
same thing.
Yeah, and I had faith that the intro and outro dialogue was entertaining, but I was looking at the thing, and it's you and Kathleen in black and white over footage of a fox hunting a rabbit, and I was like, what music are you running in the background? Because I could see the waveform, right? And I was like, what music is that? And Kathleen's like, it's public domain French music from the 1930s.
Yes.
and
Perfect.
all I could say is, of course it is.
We shot to shoot that too. We basically shot the thing. We shot Cam's scene first, the whip around to see what Cam is doing.
Yeah.
But then we had this like, okay, don't strip and go back to your normal outfit.
And Cam did direct that, right?
He kind of,
Sort of.
Yeah, actually, he completely directed the whole thing.
He said some.
He just was yelling
Some
things at us.
cruel
Do
things.
this now, and now you are this, and he's like, now you don't have the banana, and that's when I shoved it in my eye.
And really hurt yourself.
yeah,
If you look carefully at Kathleen, she starts looking upwards so that she doesn't burst out laughing.
but that scene went on for much longer than made
Oh,
it to.
good.
Yes,
All
it
right.
wasn't as
Well,
interesting.
that's something
Director's
for
cut.
the, that's something for the loading time. Yeah.
DVD, yeah. Well, should we move on to some askLR?
I think we
Yeah.
should.
All right, we took the questions from the forum this week, as we said, but there was only 4 questions, so then we put a link to the forum on Twitter, and then we got more questions.
Oh, cool.
So this is from the forum, but also kind
Womp
of.
womp.
All right. What username is this? Narkuru asks, are we going to see what happened to the road trip bus? Graham promised us pictures. I do have pictures on my cell phone. I'll post some. It's just the thing getting towed. It's not that exciting. Jay Blank, what did you have for breakfast today? I had a Starbucks breakfast sandwich because we started shooting at like 8 a.m.
Oh man! Wow, this has been a long day. Peanut butter and toast.
I had my usual breakfast, which is chopped up apple and yogurt and granola.
Nice.
I had my usual breakfast, which was blueberry, cinnamon, and flax cereal. I thought I'd let that hang in the air. For a second. It's like
Relax.
Wow.
Just
blueberry
like
and cinnamon
blueberries.
burrito
rest
and
of
then, like
Yeah.
Lurcon asks, so we haven't gotten the Men of Loading Ready Run calendar, and it looks like we probably won't. This is one of the stretch goals from the Kickstarter. Are you sad you won't have to do that, or are you relieved? I don't know. I could go either way on it. I still think it would have been
I
funny.
am dripping with tears because I wanted to do that so bad.
You know,
those pictures would have looked great.
Maybe we could just do 2 months, just as a goof.
Just get it. Yeah, just have the 1 month calendar.
Like,
just
I
the,
guess,
this
or
is
deck
the big
of playing
group shot.
cards.
I guess if there was an awful lot of demand, but how do you even measure that anyway?
I don't know.
But-
Beej, like a postcard.
Yeah, yeah.
Just like Beej as Betty Page.
Wish
or
you were
something.
Lur.
Oh boy.
Lord Hosk asks a bunch of stuff. I'm going to cherry pick one of them. Obviously, you were hoping to get at least the funded level in the Kickstarter, and are pleased that you have made it. That is correct.
Yeah.
But did you have any amount that you thought, this seems like it would be reasonable to expect based on how much our fans support us? I assume you mean like a higher level or a lower level, or like I don't know.
I would estimate that it's a higher level. It's like, what did you think you were gonna get?
I don't know. Like I
actually like. I'm actually a little bit proud of us that apparently we gauged it pretty accurately.
Yeah. Like this
was. I think we were initially, when we were thinking about how much, basically like how we actually weren't thinking that much about like how much could we get from fans. It was more what's the minimum we need to make it work.
Right.
And we sort of ended up being somewhere between sort of we're kind of trying to figure out somewhere between like 125 and like 175.
Yeah.
Depending, and we were sort of doing the math and stuff.
It was basically, we had to figure out how much we need to have after paying for our backer rewards, Kickstarter fees, and most importantly, taxes.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, all right, we need like 110 or something, like bare minimum. So we have to get it to be like 135 is the bare minimum we have to ask for, or something around there. I don't remember all the math, to be perfectly honest at this point. But it'd be better if it was like 150, you know.
So we were sort of like, okay, well, this seems like a lot of money, but I mean, we like, as we say in the Kickstarter thing, like we were prepared for it not to work.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were like, you know, this is we'll put this out.
Wouldn't have been happy.
Yeah,
but
we had no idea, you know, what kind of response it would get, and so we were like, you know, we'll put this out. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But we can't put it lower, otherwise we'll be committed and not have the money to do it. So.
The levels you picked, because when I was going through it, trying to figure out, okay, why is a jump from 135 to 150 all of a sudden result in another year of crap shots, and why does the jump from 150 to 170 mean that that Jer's Lava Bears party, or Lava Bears adventure, can
randomly assign
it
value.
could be a party.
Yeah, but that's the thing, is like, because I wasn't involved in picking those levels, and why would I be? But it was just this sense of trying to think about how much extra, why does the extra money justify the extra work? Because obviously you only have so many hours in a day and so many days in a year in which you can produce stuff.
Right.
And if you start saying, well, we're going to do this, but now every week we're going to double up on crap shots, and then we're going to do this other thing, and it's like, you only have so much time to produce.
Right.
Mhm.
And so that really felt to me like, some of the later goals especially felt like, if we can create this thing for you, but because we know how much time it's going to take us, that it has to be that much extra to justify that work.
Yeah, and also, I mean, in some cases, the higher, like the sort of stretch goal values indicate, because in order to do that thing, we would have to be bringing in other people, or paying, you know, James would have to be coming on for more time, or in the case of the D&D thing, you know,
Jer's gonna make an
Jer's
investment
time
in
and all
yeah.
that kind of stuff. Yeah. So, I mean, that was, in fact, actually, our initial plan was was $150 or $150,000, but the crap shots would be part of it. It would be just like crap shots. It would be the streaming, the the week of videos, and then the crap shots. That would be like our base thing. And then we were like, $150. That sounds $150,000. That sounds like a lot of money.
Yeah.
What if we do 135 and then make the crap shots 150, like
Right.
stretch goal? So it's like we wanted to do the crap shots.
Yeah.
And so we made it like a low stretch goal.
Well,
But
and part of that too is that knowing that that you say we're going to set that up as the first thing. You're really saying to people, this is the thing that we want to tag onto this first.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, it's absolutely amazing. I think when we first, when we were doing our first sort of intro stream, and it got so much stuff right away.
Yeah.
Like at that point we were like, oh, okay, this actually might work.
Yeah.
This is you just have no idea. And it's really amazing. Everybody, the difference between, having whatever, 20, 30, 40,000 people watching your video on YouTube, or
1,700 now?
or 70, or people actually putting sort of their money where their eyes are, actually, really going and supporting something that they think is worthwhile. That is very cool.
You've heard of the 100 True Fans.
Yeah.
When I heard about that theory,
I thought it was 1,000.
1,000 true fans?
I
Yeah,
think
because
so,
it's
yeah.
like if 1,000
It's
true
one
fans
person. Yeah.
give you $100
100
each.
rich fans.
Yeah. So if 1,000 fans give you $100 each every year, that's $100,000 for you to do your work and also live on.
Yeah.
And for most people that would
More
work.
than enough.
Yeah,
More than enough. Yeah.
exactly.
I mean, in our case, we've got 4 people, of course, so it's a little different. But yes, yeah. I mean, that's the idea, though, is that, and it's actually like we've been thinking about it a little bit. I think we mentioned this on the stream, but that it's weird when you think about it. Sort of the Kickstarter thing kind of changes your perspective about certain things to do with online entertainment, like about how many views our videos get. Our videos don't get as many views as maybe some big, some of the larger, like College Humor or Smosh or something. But you realize that pursuit of views only matters if you're making your money from advertising.
Right.
If you're making your money from the Kickstarter thing and from people who are watching your videos, it doesn't, like, our videos could get 1,700 views.
Yeah.
And it would still work.
2,039 backers.
Oh, there we go.
Nice.
2,039 views, right? Which would be very bad for a YouTube video, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, because you're giving the people who paid for it what they...
That's really cool. I love that.
It's the 1,000 True Fans theory. So the 2,000 of you can fight about who the actual 1,000 True Fans are.
Yeah. And well, we were talking about this on the CFAX interview as well. What Paul said is, like, it's the whole crowdfunding thing is, it's a very new idea, it's a new medium, it's a new way of doing this. But in some ways, it's a very, very old concept, which is the concept of artistic patronage.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right, and it's just like people who are, they give money not as an investment expecting to see a monetary return, but they're willing to give money in exchange for an artist to create what they do.
It's like, make the magic. I don't care if I get any money back.
I just want to see someone make the thing. So yeah, I think it's really cool.
And then that means that it's not, you aren't beholden to, this idea that even your most favorite TV show, Firefly or whatever, fundamentally only exists for you to watch the commercials in between, right? Which is a weird thing to think about. But now, of course, we're getting stuff like the Netflix shows and things that are really good and are literally there to sell Netflix, which is fine.
Yeah. And probably within the next 10 years, I mean, this is going to get even more focused, obviously. So it's nice to be a part of that.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing actually that we did the radio interview, the other thing that we got asked in both interviews was, would you, do you want to go on TV? Like, is TV the next step? And my response is always, we've thought about TV in the past, but we're at the point now where we're just going to keep doing what we're doing, and eventually TV is going to become the internet anyway, and we'll suddenly end up on your TV.
Yeah.
I mean, like, how many set-top boxes and smart televisions can play YouTube videos now, right?
Yeah.
I have a Boxy Box which has an escapist app, so I can go watch you guys as if you are a channel.
Yeah, and I'm sure it has a YouTube app as well, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Subscribe to the Loading Ready Run YouTube channel. Yeah. That helps us out. Yeah. Mowinkle says, since Desert Bus is a sub thing for Loading Ready Run, that would make the Desert Bus fans a sub community, which would make the Desert Bus chat a sub community. So my question is, are you proud that even your fans are meta?
No, the real fans are the ones who talk on the Desert Bus chat while on a sub in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah.
Then there's a sub.
There's also
community.
a sub a sub channel to.
Oh,
the
this.
Desert
Oh,
Bus
well, that's true. There is the DB Survivors
When
chat.
keeps getting
I mean, when it comes right down to it,
Inception.
I mean, something that actually has come up because of the Kickstarter. It turns out that the Desert Bus community is not actually a sub community of Loading Ready Run. It is
There's a crossover.
There's a Venn diagram.
Yeah.
Of the two communities.
But yeah, it's like it's a community of Desert Bus.
Yeah, and so I mean, there's obviously a lot of crossover, but they are. I'm pretty sure the Desert Bus community is actually larger than the larger than the Loading Ready Run community, which would be kind of weird if it was a sub community.
Yeah.
It's
And
a
then
side community.
he also asks, how do you feel about Canada and Denmark's war for Hans Island?
Oh,
What?
I'm all over that.
So I had to look this up. So there's an island, hang on, in the Kennedy Channel of the Nares Strait, which is somewhere.
it's near Greenland, north of Baffin Island, I think.
All right.
It looks like
It
it's
is-
100 feet across.
It is.
It is 1.3 kilometers in area, 1.3 kilometers squared, or 0.5 square miles. And it is contested
What?
between Canada and Denmark. Listen to this. This is the timeline. 1980 to 1983, the Canadian firm Dome Petroleum did research on and around the island. In 84, the Danish Minister for Greenland chartered a helicopter there. In 88, the Danish Arctic Ocean Patrol cutter Tulugak arrived at the island, built a cairn, and placed a flagpole with the Danish flag on the island.
Damn you and your flags!
Yep.
In 95, the Danish liaison officer flew in and placed another flag on the flagpole.
Who puts a flag on a flag?
In 2001, Keith Dewing and Chris Harrison, geologists with the Geological Survey of Canada, flew to the island. Then in 2002, the Danish came and erected a new cairn, a new flagpole, and a new flag, finding the previous flags missing, likely owing to weather. 2005, Canadian soldiers landed on the island, placing an Inukshuk, a plaque, and a Canadian flag.
Bam!
As a symbolic...
Did they take down
I don't
their
know.
flag?
As
I
a
hope
symbolic
not.
move, the Canadian defense minister set foot on the island in 2005.
Wow.
Then 5 days later, the Danish government announced that Denmark would issue a letter of protest to Canada. The deputy premier of Greenland stated that the island had been occupied by Canada, stating experts should determine which country the island belongs to. To be honest, it sounds like it's mostly in good fun, to be perfectly frank.
I think we're at the point where somebody needs to get out the chalk, draw the line down the middle of the island. You go, this is my side,
Or
this is
just,
your
like,
side.
have
As
a
of April
ping pong
2012, there is a proposal for them to split the island. In fact,
Oh my
Wikipedia
God.
Oh, there you go.
Wikipedia says that it is claimed by Canada and Denmark.
So does it have
Wow.
like strategic importance or oil
No,
importance?
It's
or is it
tiny.
not?
Well, that's the thing.
It's a chunk of dirt.
It does have a weather station,
If the
which Canada and Denmark both put there.
it's the kind of thing where
It was like, okay, you
if
put
there
a
was
brick.
oil there,
Okay, now you put a
if there
brick.
was minerals there, then obviously there'd be a problem because they'd be arguing this whole thing out.
Right.
And
It's one of the and they sort of both sides want to be in a position where if for some reason sometime in the future something is found.
yeah, they want to say, well, we're obviously we can't have somebody challenge our sovereignty.
Right.
But I like the idea. Like I've heard about Hans Island for a while, and I just like the idea that Denmark and us are just up to something funny and goofy in the north, in the North Atlantic. Essentially,
I kind of like the
Arctic
idea.
Ocean.
I kind of like the of Canada and Denmark actually like going to war.
Oh yeah,
But because we're both so polite,
Yeah.
that it would be kind of a fun. Like I feel like it would be kind of a
Just
fun
like a
war.
kicking
Yeah.
or like a wrestling match.
Well, they should each deploy a soldier to the island.
and just feats of strength.
Yeah.
They'll just thumb wrestle.
Or it's just you can't deploy more people to the island than can fit on the island. To greatly reduce the amount of damage that could be done.
I hope that they use that as some sort of like intergovernmental like it's like we have to have a summit between Canada and Denmark,
And
so
then
let's
they'll-
just send them both
No.
there.
They'll do the thing where there's like the table
Yeah.
where like half the table is on the Denmark side and half the table is on the Canadian side.
Yeah, it's greed will ruin this ultimately, but
Yeah.
Foxmar asks one impossible question, which is
Uh-oh.
most memorable memory of the past 10 years of Loading Ready Run.
I forgot.
And we'll talk some more about Loading Ready Run memories in the live stream on Sunday,
Yeah.
which you might have seen before this goes up, to be perfectly
Awkward.
frank. And then he asks, have you measured Baxter's tail yet? If not, why? No, because it is of near infinite mass.
Infinite cat.
Prospero says, I must say, the thing I'm most excited about, aside from the D&D miniseries during the Year of Lure, is the Loading Ready live streams. Is there any hope you might start those after Desert Bus? Well, they will be starting after Desert Bus in the broad scope, but it's unlikely that we'll have a chance to do much before the new year, because after Desert Bus, we have to do a lot of planning and prep to get ready for the new year, including setting up the streaming office. And stuff
part
like
of part of the whole idea with live streams is we're actually renovating our one of our offices to do it. So I mean, the live streaming the level that we're doing now will continue in terms of the Magic stuff, but the real live streaming thing, probably will not happen until the new year. Yeah, just so that we can be ready to do it properly.
I had someone contact me on Twitter and say that they thought they're like, Beej, you should totally go play retro games.
That sounds awesome.
We'd love to see you play and I'm like, why? Like I couldn't
why you?
I was like, this is so nice, but why would you want to watch me specifically?
And why retro games specifically? Like, are you?
It seems interesting.
Are you known as a retro game guy?
I don't think I am. But
now what do they mean by retro? Because I have over there's a game that's like an old Eidos game for PlayStation 1 that is like it's 3D. It looks like crappy Resident Evil 1 kind of style stuff. Goody. It looks awful, but I would love to live stream it. I think it'd be hilarious.
We also actually we were just cleaning down our production area downstairs, and we found a Super Nintendo.
Yeah, we have a Super Nintendo downstairs.
Sick. So that's pretty
Street
sweet.
Fighter 2 Alpha, Art of Fighting, and Link to the Past.
I feel like there's going to be a lot of Let's Plays in the future.
So I mean, I know James actually has already is working on like a shopping list for what needs to go in there. So I mean, we've got lots of
green paint.
Obviously, we do streaming ourselves, but we also have lots of friends who do streaming and stuff. So we want to make sure we get all the appropriate equipment to make sure we do it properly.
JS
won't
Baker
wear green clothes.
Yeah. JS Baker asks, "Yeah, you're screwed.
I know.
You're gonna need a whole new wardrobe of polos." JS Baker asks, "Has anyone at LRR
You'll just be floating
gotten to play Gone Home? It and Papers, Please have been my two favorite games so far this year."
I really wanted to play Gone Home because it's like an exploration game with I believe no puzzles. Although
I hear it's really good.
It sounds really good. My only beef with it is the price point is super high for that kind of game.
What is it?
$20.
Yay.
Yeah, and like by all accounts,
I've read some people who've been like very emotionally affected by it because of the content.
Oh yeah.
Which is cool.
No, I think that's great, but it's just like I think
but it's
$20
only
is
it's
really
only
high
like
a
4 or 5 hour game too, right?
Oh, okay.
I think it's less than that.
Raymond Ong asks, is it possible we're going to be seeing more group activity streams like the ping pong tournament or the in-house draft with the new streams set up for next year? I think it would behoove us when we are doing the changes to the streaming office to have something in place to be able to stream a live game of Magic at very least.
And I know, again, as we were cleaning up this morning, James was talking about getting the ping pong table out again, so we will, we'll see what we can do about that. No promises, though.
Hey, guys, with the incoming increase in streaming, this is a question from Nicholas MC. A lot of streaming questions. This is great. We're really excited. Yeah. Do you plan or would you like to stream games with the community, i.e. competitive cooperative? Well, there's certain
some of that will happen.
Yeah, there's certain tiers within the Kickstarter that we are on the hook for, which we're very excited about. And obviously we don't want to reduce the value of those, so we can't just say like, yeah, whatever, come on, stream with us. But there could be a thing where we set something up maybe for like subscribers of the Twitch channel or something like that, or Kickstarter backers or something. There's the possibility.
Or I can certainly imagine us streaming with other of our friends who aren't actually here, people who just don't happen to be in Victoria or whatever anymore, but just using the streaming as a chance to sort of get them involved again.
Nice.
And oh wow, there we go. Holy, there's some questions. All right, Mware asks, but where is the fridge now?
Oh
wait, which fridge?
The fridge we just got rid of today.
It went to a better place. It went to live with its friends.
Better or worse?
Which is a whole bunch of fridges that
Yeah.
I don't know what they do with them. Presumably
They make a Borg cube.
The
out of
Freon
it.
Hill Frigifarm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dr. Saucy asks, I was in a place recently where there are multiple games of Magic being played at once. Do you find the little thwip noise of the cards when there are a few games being played slightly unsettling? It was similar to the mass knuckle crack at PAX.
There'd be an interesting thing do like as with go like to a GP and be like everybody like play land all at the same time. Just have like complete silence and just
Everybody top deck at the same time.
yeah. Something like that would be kind of funny.
Well,
or do like the card flick thing when people
Yeah.
are messing with their cards.
I'm one of those jerks who flicks their cards, so that doesn't bother me.
Freaking people
Barcode
who
reader.
can't keep their hands still.
Barcode reader says, I'm asking this question for my very first smartphone acquired less than a week ago, despite me being in my early 20s and having previously had the means to afford it.
Congratulations.
When did
Don't drop it.
When did you guys take these first steps into the 21st century, and what nifty gadgets have you been the slowest to adopt?
I just got a smartphone like a month ago.
It's neat, isn't it?
It's neat. Yeah, I mean, it's a little slow sometimes and goofy, but it was quite an upgrade from my flip phone.
Well, I remember James, Paul, and I.
Yeah, we were. I mean, I wouldn't say we were slow to the uptake because we were.
Well, no,
We were launch day for the
which
3G.
Which steps were you? Like, which steps did you take to get to the 21st century, and is there technology you have been slow to adopt? So, yeah, James, Paul, and I were, as soon as the iPhone was released in Canada, which was the iPhone 3G, we were there at like 5 a.m.
Launch day.
On
Actually,
launch day.
it was really funny because this was the first time the iPhone was released in Canada. Predictably, Rogers Network went, and they literally were taking like 2 hours each to sign people up. For
I had
the
to work that day.
Yeah.
And I was like, they open it 7 or 8. I told my boss I'd be in by like I would be in late. I'd be like there like 9:30. I didn't get in until like 12:30, and I was number 3 in line.
Yeah.
Luckily, my boss was like, let me see it.
And so, but it was actually really funny though, because you would get, I got my phone, but then it would take a little while to actually like fully activate. But you could go away and it would just like the whatever negotiation system would take a little bit. And we were talking to each other, and you could tell as each person's phone activated, because the text messaging that they would do would change from like like T9 text messaging to like, oh, that is quite interesting, period. What are you, like with like commas and periods and punctuation, all the stuff. It'd be like, oh, everyone's actually getting a good phone.
I don't know what I've been slow to adopt. I'm an early adopter of stuff.
Yeah. I got a rice cooker not too long ago, which turns out to be really cool.
Nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Rice cooker is one of those things where it's like cooking rice isn't very hard. You just do it in a pot and do stuff. Then you realize that like rice cooker, it's very small. It just kind of sits there, and you can cook rice, and you never have to worry about it.
Just like
It's not necessary, but it's better.
I had refused to buy a cell phone for the longest time because I didn't want to. It's expensive, right? You don't want to get stuck with a crappy phone, and plus. But I thought, I'll go pay as you go when I do that. But for years and years, I never had one because it wasn't that interesting. And then finally, I was like, well, I will give in and get one. And I bought an unlocked Sony Ericsson T616 off of a guy that I worked with.
Good choice.
Yeah, and the SIM card kept coming loose all the time. But I went month to month on Fido. Fido's the budget brand of Rogers up here in Canada, for anyone who doesn't know. And I've been with Fido since then, which has been fine. But I was not going to make the jump to the iPhone because I just was like, no, I gotta have OpenMoko. Does anyone know what that is?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Nope.
OpenMoko was the platform, the original Linux-based platform for cell phones, and these guys had come up with a phone from FIC, and it was FIC, and it was going to be $700. They had the developer one already out. They're like, we're going to sell real ones. This will be Linux-based. You can install real Linux stuff on here. And
Wasn't
all that
like
kind of stuff.
Nokia or somebody actually?
Well, no, Nokia was making the Migo project.
Oh, okay.
Which
I thought there was like one of the phone manufacturers was actually
Oh, yeah.
putting out a couple phones with OpenMoko on it.
Well, FIC was the first one, and there might have been another one that was going to be on board, but I don't think it ever really went anywhere, and I ended up not getting it because...
I was going to say it's probably just as well you didn't like lock into that commitment.
Yeah, at Anime Evolution, like I was like, I'm not going to do this. And at Anime Evolution, the year they were at the Vancouver Convention Center, my wife had just gotten an iPhone 3G before we left and went. And she had picked up a BlackBerry and she didn't really like it. And I said, like on the same day, I said, you take it back right now and you get an iPhone because I like Ian's and you'll probably like yours too. So she was all like skittish about it, but she went and got one. And like every 3 hours I was asking to borrow it from her so I could look something up or I could do something. And I finally was like, this sucks. And I just went in and I got a 3GS the moment it was released. How could you not, right? Because I've been using Palm Pilots since then. So it's like good to get rid of one of those and just be like, yeah, you know what? I got my whole thing right here.
Second to last question, also from Barcode Reader. When you started the Kickstarter, did you expect how many times you would have to repeat, we aren't going anywhere, we're just stopping the sketches? I mean, to an extent.
We anticipated that would be a question.
That's why we tried.
And we tried to answer
It's in the video, it's in the FAQ. We tried to make it as clear as possible.
In many ways as possible.
Shutting it down. There'll be something different after that.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, you can never underestimate the amount that people will not watch.
Though I think there was a feeling like some of the people who were saying, "Oh, I'll miss you guys." I think,
no, you won't.
Well, I think part of it was that I'll miss you guys. They meant more of that. I'll miss LoadingReadyRun, which is the program I watch on The Escapist,
or miss the sort of being able to sort of come every Monday and see this stuff.
Yeah,
well, hopefully
sketch. Right?
Hopefully, is one of the things I'm really excited about for the live streams is that you'll get to know much more of us.
Right, we're not. Hopefully
just
you
our
don't.
Sketches.
Yeah, hopefully it's okay when you see us when we're not pre-scripted.
Yeah.
Although if you're watching the podcast,
this is not pre-scripted. No. This is pre-scripted.
The year after we're gonna do like a grim dark murder mystery series.
Just be like, this is not pre-scripted.
No.
Look at Graham.
It sure isn't, Paul. Wink.
Hey, you guys. Fart.
I remember those on Top Gear where they're like they like won a BAFTA for best show not scripted, and they're like, isn't that great? And they actually they have it's like we have a script.
Yeah,
just people think they're not scripted for some reason.
And last question from Doc Brown: if a vampire bites Jesus, does the vampire get drunk, die, turn human, or any combination of the above?
Is it implied that nothing happens to Jesus?
They both turn to stone.
I think it's implied that nothing's happening to Jesus.
This is Jesus Christ, right?
No, just this guy,
some random dude.
This guy named Jesus.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jesus.
What's God's effect on a vampire?
I feel like that's like
whatever the writer says it is.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of I feel like that could be one of those things that from Underworld or Vampire the Masquerade. It's like, this is how the first vampire was created.
A crucifix repels a vampire.
Yeah.
Right.
Any kind of crucifix is apparently supposed to, unless you're in like whatever friggin' mythology. So that means that some sort of holy power has to repel a vampire. Therefore,
so I think he couldn't even get close.
Yeah, he couldn't even get close to Jesus because the moment he would go to sink his teeth in, like Jesus is like
his
divine
aura.
sweat would probably just put him off.
His AOE.
Yeah.
The area effect.
Jesus is like I am the crucifix. Like that's. I guess
just
if
put my hands out like this and you just like run away.
I guess it depends on what era of Jesus we're talking to.
Yeah. What era of Jesus and what
Not Republican
vampires
Jesus?
are
Yeah.
Oh, is this post resurrection Jesus? Right.
Yeah.
Or
Silver Age.
Silver Age Jesus.
Yeah.
When he was with the Justice League.
Yeah. The Phoenix Force Jesus.
Yeah, that was a weird series.
That's a good fandom question.
Crisis on Infinite Jesuses.
Earth 2 Jesus.
Yeah, I think we'll leave it there for now.
Well,
that was a nice long cast there. Thank you all for listening and or watching. And we'll be back next week to answer more of your questions.
Probably.
Bye bye.